Welcome back, fellow trophy hunters, YouTube watchers, platinum getters. Today, we take on Little Nightmares 3, and I'm going all out on this video, so obviously there's going to be spoilers. Now, let's let the fun begin. Now, this is a different studio that made the other two games, and you can definitely feel the difference in the game from Tassier Studios, I think that's how you pronounce it, versus Supermassive making this one. The estimated difficulty of this game is a 3 out of 10, so it's not really hard at all. However, it does require 2 playthroughs and partially a third. I do wish they would bring back the harder trophies, like in the original Little Nightmares. There's a trophy called Hard to the Core, which I did make a video on if you want to watch it. I'll leave a link in the description for that video. But for that trophy, you need to beat the whole game in under 1 hour with no deaths. In this game, they have some trophies that could have been harder, but they kind of cut the hardness down. I'll explain it when we get to these in the game. But if you guys could, like and subscribe, that'd be amazing. I only need 2 more for 500 subs, and that's been a goal of mine for like 2 years now. At this point, when I'm making this video, I might already be there. I'm not sure, because I've been working on this video for a while. But please, like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get into Little Nightmares 3. So in the beginning, we get to choose between the 2 playable characters, Lo and Alone, or I like to say Legolas and Gimli. One has a bow, the other one has a wrench. I figured Legolas would be the main character, plus the bow seemed like more fun, so I went with that character. Now we load into the wonderful game. Each area has its own trophy for collectibles. However, it doesn't show all the collectibles you can get in certain chapters of the game, which is pretty frustrating. There's a total of 4 chapters in the game. So in this video, we will take it chapter by chapter. I'll show you the trophies you can get and how to obtain them, and some critiques of each chapter. Ahead of the game, of course, it's not a Little Nightmares game without some jank, so definitely going to show you some areas where the game glitched out and it got pretty janky. Without further ado, let's get into it. Chapter 1. There's a total of 5 unique trophies for this chapter. Now we start off in a room, and when we leave, we cross the Great Red Desert and climb the tallest ladder ever to find an eerie little town filled with crows and people turned into statues. This area was definitely my least favorite part of the game, and I played through this game a total of 4 times. 1, I just wanted to play for the game for myself with no spoilers. Didn't want to play with a guide looking at it while I was playing. The second time, I played with Legolas again and wanted to make sure I got all the collectibles with him because it's easier, in my opinion, to get them with him. And there's a few puzzles. Well, calling these puzzles might be being generous. For example, here's one. Earlier in the video, you saw me chase around some crows. There's a total of 14 crows in this level. And the guide I was looking at said you need to at least get 11 to pop the trophy Bird-Brained. Let's knock out another trophy real quick. You'll find these hidden dolls scattered throughout the level. You'll see it right in there, right into the doorway. I'm just an idiot and I ignored it because this is my second playthrough and I already had the trophy for this one. There's 5 in this level that you need to find. They're not too hard to find. And that's, I don't know, that's one of the disappointing things in this game is the collectibles is when you find them, most of the time they're just in a blank empty room or they're just out in the open just sitting there. I feel like in the first 2 games, if you found a secret room, there was some cool stuff or there was some lore in the room. But in this game, they're just chilling there, and I just feel like, I don't know, they could have done more with it, I feel like. Maybe I'm being too hard on the game. But anyway, we'll earn the trophy toy box for finding the 5 dolls in this level. Then going through the level, we see a giant hand, and I get so scared, I start calling out to my partner 50 times. That leads us to our next trophy, Hello. I also wanted to take a time as you hear me calling hello that I do have cool outfits because I'm a nerd and I did pre-order this game. Here's some of the cool outfits that are available to you. You can dress up each character. I thought it was pretty cool and I thought I should add in here. Now let's pop that trophy for calling out to our partner 50 times. Each level has its own little gimmick. In this one, we get a cool little umbrella. With this umbrella, you can find vents that you can use to get to higher locations. You can use it to fall from higher locations to get to the ground safely. There is that old classic jank in this game, though. Like, there's one scene where you need to float from one area to another sliding down a house, and my umbrella, for some reason, just wouldn't pop a couple of times, and it was pretty frustrating. There's definitely a lot more jank, but this is just one of them that was kind of annoying. I don't understand why it would happen to me. I couldn't like really reenact it because I was doing my first playthrough and I wasn't really recording. I tried to do it. It happened to me once where the umbrella would pop and then it popped back out in this clip here. But anyway, I did it. Thankfully, the umbrella was working for me. When I needed to get this trophy, you need to drop to an area and use the umbrella right before you hit the ground. I died the first time, but after my second try, I got the trophy. Thankfully, the jank did not take over. Maybe the reason I don't like this level that much is because the monster of the level is just a giant baby doll. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a monster in this universe. You know, when you have like the teacher from the second game or all like I don't know what you'd call them, like the crew members of the ship in the first game. I don't know, they just feel more like grounded, and then just having like a giant baby doll just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't hit the same. It just feels different. Now, one of the more interesting trophies in this game is Peekaboo. You have to go through this whole level without dying from the monster baby. There are really only 3 sections in the game where the monster baby can kill you. One where you need to run and hide from its eye. There are a few other sections where the monster baby can murder you. Like I said, I don't know, I just wasn't a big fan of this section. It just didn't feel scary. It didn't feel like there was any pressure that was happening. I don't really know how to explain it. It just definitely feels different from the other 2 games. Like, don't get me wrong, there were some cool moments in this section, but I wasn't, like, stressed. I wasn't anxious, or I wasn't scared. I'll show a few more examples of this, and we'll end the chapter at the first level. So, finishing the level without dying from the monster baby, and finishing the level unlocks just 2 more trophies, Peekaboo and Child's Play. Alright, chapter 2. Woo! Now we're popping out of the mirror. We're at this giant factory where it looks like this is where they assemble the people who work at my job. We're all sad, depressed, and we're on a line. God, this is getting too real. Let me get back to the game. In chapter 2, we have the least amount of trophies to obtain, only 4. I did forget to mention there's 2 other miscellaneous trophies. Another reason why it takes 2 playthroughs is you have to use the character's weapons 50 times each. So with Alone, you need to use a wrench 50 times and break walls, push buttons. There's a bunch of aces you can destroy in the first chapter, which is where I like quote-unquote grinded it out. Super easy to get. And then when you play as Lo, you just need to use the bow and arrow 50 times, which is pretty easy with all the puzzles you have to do in the game as this character. Now as we continue going right, because it seems like that's the majority of the direction you go in this game, we'll get a sneak little preview of someone creeping on us. Then we get to the next room and we see our new boss of the level, the 6-armed freak. Not sure the actual name. Let me do a little bit of Googling. She is called the Supervisor. So the first time we see her, she's sorting through some papers. We've got to crouch to avoid her hearing our steps. Then she runs off to the next room. This kind of goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about, like, this area and areas like this with, like, the boss of the area around and you're sneaking past them and trying to figure out the area is what I like about Little Nightmares. It's what I liked about the first 2 games. I liked having the boss of the area or just whatever entity that was around. You would have to like try to avoid them while progressing through the level. I think that's fun. It's what I enjoy of the game. And I don't know, just like that first area just did not feel that way. But after escaping the lady, we do find one of the collectibles because like I said, each area has its, well, most of the collectibles are the same. They all have the dolls. No! Well, that was embarrassing. Anyway, once we climb above there, climb a little bit down here, to the left is another doll. There's 5 of them in this level, and for collecting all 5, we earn ourselves another trophy, Candy Shop. Now let's talk about one of the biggest and annoying glitches in this game. Thank God this doesn't have a no death trophy in this game, because this chase scene, I'm going to show you how it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to go, she's chasing you, and you're like, oh God, I gotta get away. Oh, the steam got her. Awesome. But this has happened to me multiple times. And like I said, I've played this game about 3 or 4 times. Ridiculous. Sometimes the Steam just doesn't stop. It happens so much, and they charge so much more for this game. I think it's time to start holding them to a higher standard. See, look, Steam didn't even come out, bro. It was instant death. So if there was a trophy for that, I would have been pissed. Now that we escape the supervisor, we fall down into the candy pit of doom. Don't fret. This candy is essential for the next trophy. The trophy we want to get is called Unsavory Delicacies. You'll grab 3 pieces of candy, throw them onto the bugs. I randomly got this on my first playthrough because I was just throwing candy around because I was bored, and the trophy unlocked for me. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I do kind of low-key wish there was like a speed run for this trophy, or just like beat the game under like, I don't know, a certain amount of time, because for instance, like this part with the light, you don't have to bring the light all the way to the other side of the level. You can literally just drop in front of the ladder and just climb up the ladder. And like with the baby scene, there's a scene where you like hit the box and it picks it up or something like that, and you can just run through that part. So I feel like you could actually get done this game pretty quickly. I don't know. I just wish there was like harder trophies, but you know, a lot of modern trophy lists aren't really that hard. Anyway, that was just a quick little side note that I wanted to talk about. Let's keep on going. But I do like some of the areas in the second chapter. Like, I like seeing the workers do this, and like, I don't know, it does bring me back to like the little nightmares with like the chefs, and in the second game, like the teacher and stuff. Just seeing them out and about doing their shit. And this was just another cool little background that I enjoyed that I wanted to show off in this chapter. Just like the crazy amounts of candy just piled up, and just kind of shows you how big the world is and how small you are. I don't know. I just thought it was a good shot. Draw. And usually most of the time in this game, it's like really easy to find your way around. But this hallway, for whatever reason, gave me the biggest trouble. I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to get up there and the light's up there? But my dumbass, you just had to walk down this hallway a little bit and there was an opening right there. But for like some reason, I just could not comprehend that in my brain. I'm like, where do I go? And then if you look to the left right there, yeah, you just saw the light over there, and that's it. But I seriously was in that hallway for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, make sure you let your little buddy follow you around with that light, because if not, the bugs will definitely kill them. This is where I dropped the other piece of candy, by the way, because I was just like, oh, whatever. Then we find like a little ball, which I had a funny feeling because they kind of had a similar trophy in the second game where you needed to bring this ball, it's either a ball or a paper airplane, I can't remember, to the next floor. It was a paper airplane because then you throw it out the window in the second game. And in this game, there's a ball here. And for some reason in my head, I'm like, I bet I have to bring that on the elevator with me. And what did I not do in my first playthrough? I didn't bring it with me. And I was so sad because you do need this ball for the next trophy. Which you bring it up in the elevator with you, you throw it in a basket, and the trophy is earned. And I was like, bro, I'm disgusted with myself. I should have freaking known. Also, this reveal didn't really hit because you could kind of hear her like spinning on the wheel to like know that she wasn't really that tall. So like seeing that she was like this crazy bug creature didn't really like surprise me all that much. Also, speaking of the other games, if you guys do want me to make like a video with all 3 games, let me know in the comments. I already 100% the first game and got the platinum for the second game, and obviously this one since I'm making a video. However, they did release a PS5 version for the first game, and I could always do the PS4 version for the second one. I don't know if they have a PS4 version of 3, but if they do, I mean, I could always do that just to get the trophies again. If you guys are interested, just let me know. There is also this scene where, like, before you get here, you're doing, like, this, like, candy train thing. You just feel like a cart. I just feel like, dude, that it was so boring that I'm like, why even? I don't know. So there's, like, some stuff, obviously, I'm not going to put in the video because it's just boring. But this is, like, the stuff that I really like in the game. Like, I do like these chase scenes. I think they're really cool. I like avoiding them. I don't know. It just makes you feel like a Little Nightmares game, you know what I mean? Doing like all that other boring stuff, it just, I don't know, doesn't, I'm not trying to be like negative on the game. I mean, I enjoyed this game, I just didn't enjoy it as much as the other 2 games. Then we have our final chase scene with the supervisor, which this part at the end of the chase kind of reminded me a lot of the second game too, which I was kind of, I want to say disappointed in, but it's kind of like, well, you kind of did this already similarly in the second game with the guy in the oven. Like, he was trapped. I mean, this one, I guess we're just smushing her, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like this was kind of like really similar. Look at those hands, though, bro. Ugh. But we do earn a trophy for finishing this chase scene. And that is all the chapters, or all the trophies in this chapter. Unsupervised. Then we go into the mirror for our next chapter. Now we're on to chapter 3, which is the biggest chapter in the game by far, and the best chapter in my opinion. Still got a few gripes about it, but we'll get into it when we get there. There are a total of 9 trophies to earn in this chapter, and let me tell you, there's a lot of different collectibles going on. There's a total of 10 dolls to collect in this chapter. There's 6 gnomes to hug and 6 lady statues to break, which I like. The lady statues is a great callback to the first game. As you can see, the first puzzle in this game is stalking and harassing this hair gnome. But I do love seeing the gnomes again. I don't think you see them in the first 2 chapters of the game. Eventually, following the gnome leads us to this furnace. We turn it on for him, and he gives us a little reward. I do kind of like this area a lot, though, because you can just sit here and vibe with the gnome. Sit on a pillow, gaze at the fire, and I don't know, it's kind of mellow. But then we end our hangout session with a good old hug, and let's pop that trophy for hugging 6 gnomes. Then as soon as we get to the next area, we unlock the flashlight, which gives us our next trophy. And yes, I like blinding my little partner. Now, I won't just go into the next trophy for this area because we could knock out another one real quick, but let's talk about another quote-unquote puzzle. So you just jump on this blind and it reveals the ones that you have to hit for this. And I'm just kind of like, okay, the solution's right there. All you gotta do is jump. There's nothing else in the room that would, like, make you think like you couldn't. I don't know. It's just not really challenging in any way. Creepy alert, though. That showcase right there had a bunch of puppets in it, and now they're missing. Ooh, spooky. Well, let's knock out this next trophy. We climb up this ladder. Yes, we're climbing up a lot of ladders in this playthrough. We see this bear. We hit the button with our sweet bow and arrow, and we enact capital punishment for stuffed teddy bear. We have to do what we need to do for the trophy. Thank you. Now with the power on, we can turn this contraption, and up this contraption, guess what there is? A hidden doll. And probably one of the, well, I don't know if you'd call this area cool, but at least it's there. And like I said earlier, each chapter has its own dolls, so of course we're going to be collecting dolls. I was going to skip over this whole parkour section, but then I was like, oh wait, I forgot. There's a lot of gnomes up this way. Not that I'm going to show you all the location of the gnomes, but there is also another trophy that we can earn up here. And it is for going into this back room. There's a piano. We just make some beautiful music running across the keys. We earn our next trophy. Stay tuned. There's those puppets that were missing earlier in the case. Now they're just chilling here. But before we can enter the carnival, we need to have a battle royale with said puppets and have a little, as the JR used to say, a slobber knock. Go around with low, hit them with a bow, knock off their head, and then Alone comes over there and smashes them with a wrench. I'm assuming it's real. I don't know why. My bad. I'm not here to assume genders. Which, some of the combat too is kind of janky because I'm about to go back to the first chapter of the game where this bug fight, and this bug just lands on me and just destroys me. And I'm like, what are the odds that this could happen? What I do like about this area the most, though, is like the design and the feel of the carnival. Except for there is one issue I do have with it. And it's just like, you know, in all the other games, you're getting hunted down, you're getting chased by these guys. And in this chapter, it seems like they want everything to do but you. Like, they're just so involved in the circus or the carnival, whatever you want to call it, that you're just an afterthought. But, like, in the other games, they would literally be chasing you. Like, even this guy, I mean, yeah, he's eating his candy or whatever and ignores you, but I don't know. I just feel like in the other games, like, for instance, this part, they would have crawled over the table to ignore the candy to eat you because you were, like, the freshest meat, or I don't know. it just, there's like a false sense of, I guess, I'm trying to think of the right word. I guess there's like no fear. Like the only thing you fear are these puppet things that you have to fight every now and then. But it's nothing like bad, or it's not like threatening like the big guys. It's like, why aren't they chasing me? Why aren't we making this more difficult? I don't know. It's just, it's different. I just gotta add this part here. I missed this fucking lady statue so many freaking times throughout my playthrough. I didn't even realize you could walk over here, honestly. There's the last one that we needed, and like I said earlier, you need to get 10 of those lady statues for a trophy. Then we'll talk about the carnival a little bit more. I'll just show you a few of my favorite moments of this chapter. And the crazy thing is, we're maybe halfway through this chapter, and I've cut like a lot of the content, obviously, from seeing it. This part was cool because you had to like crouch between the gnomes, and if you didn't, then you just pretty much got mauled by like huge amongst the puppets. But yeah, just like this chapter is longer than like the first two chapters combined, it feels like this chapter has like 3 different arcs to it. You have the beginning part where we did like the gnome things, now you have this part, and then the last part, which we'll get into when we get there. But just seeing like all this part was pretty cool to me, just the whole atmosphere of it. Then again, like I said, the danger, I didn't realize it till like looking back at the film, kind of wasn't there. Like this part, yeah, you have to holler for this guy to get to you, and if you don't move, then you're gonna die. But he doesn't see you. None of the guys are, I don't know, they're just distracted doing their own thing. Nothing like the first game at all. So, I mean, it is what it is. Take it with a grain of salt, or however. I'm just one guy on the internet making a video about the platinum trophies, and I mean, I have played the other games, and I don't know. The more and more like I've played this, the more and more I'm kind of like, yeah, this wasn't as good as the other games, in my opinion. Like, there just doesn't seem to be that oomph to it. Something missing. This part was pretty cool. You can earn a trophy at this part low. You just gotta fire at the gnomes. Once you hit the gnomes all the times and you miss the, I don't know what the other ones are. I think they're like a person or a human or something. You don't hit the humans, you hit the gnomes. Once you do that, you do earn a trophy. I do appreciate the fact that we get to at least ride on a ride in the carnival to get to our next area where we get to meet the villain of the chapter. You do get like a little sneak peek earlier in the game. When you turn the lights on in the tent, you kind of like see like the outline of them. But now we're going in for it. And we're going to see the boss and the villain of the chapter. His name is Mr. Kin, or the Kin. And then you shortly find after that there's actually 2 villains, the Kin and then the mini Kin. You get to see him after we take this board up. You'll see him like look up like a little dog and start chasing you. Which, yeah, I don't know. It's very like so iffy in this game. The more and more I'm like, I play it, and the more and more I watch it, I'm like, yeah, it just wasn't as good as the first 2 games. Because like, I don't know, if you get found out by any of these guys, like in the older games, like if a chef saw you, you could like recover and you could go underneath the table or get away from them. They try to grab you, but sometimes they just wouldn't be able to get you. But in this game, it's like a instant death. Like, nothing you can do. You can't get out of it. You're just dead. But speaking of like the older games, this part actually reminds me of it a lot because kind of like the chefs too. It's like, oh hey, they're like going around the kitchen, they're cooking stuff, and then like their backs would be turned, and it's kind of like a time puzzle. You gotta like, I don't know, you gotta like pay attention to like their movements and stuff. Like him, he's gonna feed the minikin, so he's gonna chop up into this dude, and while he's not feeding the minikin's like on the lookout for you, which is really reminiscent, honestly, of like the kitchen area in the first game. And I know I keep like referring to the older games, but I mean that's the best way to compare them because, like I said, I played all 3 games platinum. Well, there's not a platinum for the first game. There is an ultra rare trophy though, so it's pretty cool. But then the other 2 games aren't really that hard to platinum. Right there, see, look, I get caught. There's no getting away. It's just an instant death. I mean, you can try to outrun the minikin for like a little bit, but you're gonna get got, dude. It's just a matter of time because then the big kin's gonna come in, or the kin, I should say, and he'll get you and it's over. But just kind of like in the kitchen area in the first game, you're gonna do that. Um, I love how he like lifts you up like that. Then we get to this chasing with the minikin, and I like this part as well because it's cool. Because like I said, there's like two villains, so the minikin's chasing you. You're getting away, obviously. Get in the elevator to get away from them. But who's waiting for you at the top is the main kin or the big kin, whatever you want. We'll call him Kinzilla, Godzilla, Rotissa. I don't know what I did there. I'm sorry. And then this part is what comes to the game breaking bug in this game. Especially, I mean, it only happened to me when I played as Alone and not Low. So the wrench character that's happened to me I didn't have any issues when I played as Low, the bow character. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. But for whatever reason, when I played as Alone, I couldn't get Low out of the box. Like I would jump on it, or I'd try to jump on it. It wouldn't let me jump. That's what would happen. It was like a mid jump, or it looked like I was falling. I couldn't hit it with my wrench. Couldn't do anything. And like during my playthrough as Low, I didn't have like the character went up there, didn't have any issue, knocked it down whatsoever. And the thing that sucks about this is that you do need to beat the game as each character each time. And the thing is, like the third chapter, like I mentioned, is so freaking long that you're pretty much towards the end at this point. There's not too much left of the chapter, and I tried reloading a save, it didn't work. I tried resetting my PlayStation 5, it didn't work. I tried uploading the cloud save to see if that would help it. None of it. I even uninstalled and reinstalled the game, didn't happen. I literally had to replay through the whole chapter. And it's just something like that, man, where it's like that's so frustrating. That too, if there was like a permadeath run in this game and that were to happen, you would lose all that progress. And it's just, I don't know, man. You're charging almost $50 for this game for like we'll say 4 to 8 hour experience, depending like how much you're actually like exploring or if you're going for all the trophies, etc. But it's just kind of, I don't know. You kind of feel like you're getting ripped off, you know? Like, you delayed the game a couple of times because you wanted to make sure it was polished and good and all that, but then you have a game-breaking bug like that. Like, how does that even happen? Like, where's the quality control? Like, like I said, all these games have jank, but in the first and second game, I never had a game-breaking bug. I mean, I don't know if you guys had. See, like right here, instant, no problem. This is the AI character, by the way. I didn't play this chapter with a co-op partner. I did that in the fourth chapter because that's required for a trophy. And since obviously I've been through jank in every chapter, yes, the fourth chapter also has jank that we'll go over at a specific point. But let's talk about trophies because that's why we're here. To earn the trophy for a delivery service, we have to get our little captive friend over here and we have to deliver some food to him. And you know what I saw in that kitchen over there? A nice tasty sausage. And our man loves that sausage, gobbles it up whole, deep throats the whole thing. Ayo? He eats the whole thing. He doesn't deep throat it. But we do earn our trophies. Earn a trophy for giving the man his food. This also might be one of the saddest parts in the game, because if you know like the Little Nightmares lore, oh god, this one sucks, man. They end up catching our friend that we set release for us to get out of here, and dude just snaps his neck, bro. That crunch. And he just throws him in a food bowl for the minikin. And like I said, if you know, you know the lore and stuff with that in the first game. I want to ruin it for you if you don't. You should definitely play the first game's DLC. Great, great, great game. Great DLC. Which also kind of sucks with this game too, because they did announce a DLC. It's not out yet, obviously, but it's kind of like, bro, like, I don't know. I guess that's just all modern games nowadays. Is like it's like, oh hey, by the way, we're gonna have a DLC, and it's like, why couldn't you just add that to the main game? Or I don't know, man, because it's like I'm already spending like $40. Was it 40, $50 on this game? And I don't know. It just feels like ingenuous, not like it's just kind of disappointing. And I do like this part where you have to like try to get the key from him, and then there's our food buddy down there that we delivered to. the kin makes him juggle rings, and then if he messes up the rings, he goes back in there and he gets balls for him to juggle instead. So I just think like this. Well, I don't know if you quote unquote call this a puzzle, but I did like this interaction. Then we get to the part where the kin chases us. My first time doing this, I was like too busy exploring and didn't realize he was gonna pop up out of there. So when he did, I instantly died, and I was like, "That's what you get for freaking exploring." Because I was like, my first playthrough, yeah, I was exploring, so I want to find all the collectibles. I have to wait for my AI partner to save my life. And I do like the climax of this chapter. You're running away from him, you jump in the hot air balloon, he freaking grabs a gun and fires at you. And then the mini-kin's like climbing up all over the freaking hot air balloon that you're going on. Even though this part was kind of a little janky for me because there's times where I would like put down on the lever, but the fire wouldn't burn him and he would just instantly kill me. Or I didn't do it fast enough, so he was on fire and he jumped on me and he killed me. But setting that little mother trucker on fire did feel good and rewarding. It did feel good. I was like, yeah, bump this guy, bump Mr. Kin for doing that to my gnome friend. Just bump this place. And now we've reached the final chapter of the Institute, which has a total of 8 trophies, but 2 of them are ending trophies, and one of them is for beating the last chapter with a co-op partner, so really 3 of these trophies are for just beating the game. And this area is alright, not my favorite. Definitely chapter 3 is my favorite out of all of them. And this one has its moments where it's really cool, but it could be better. Inside the Institute, we're met with a new enemy, the flower. If you get too close to it without shooting it, it'll like wrap its like vine around your neck and just instantly kill you. Pretty cool. And this video is getting a little long, so I'm just gonna kind of go over like a little bit of the highlights of the chapter 4, because I mean honestly it's a lot of just the same. You're in an area, try to avoid an area, do that. So I'm just gonna show like the cool parts, like this part. Like if you make any noise, this guy goes, he chases you, so you have to try to crack the bottles to get away from him. Because as soon as you touch the door, it alerts him and then he chases you like that. And I think this is super cool. This is like what really got me into this chapter. Unfortunately, it kind of falls short in my opinion. But Alone hits that, and then all of a sudden you just see like this massive, like looks kind of like a snake just crawling, and I'm like, what is this? Like that's the boss of this area? Like what is this snake type of creature? But then you look, and it's a freaking foot, dude. And I was like, there ain't no way that this is a freaking person. And so, like, the huge atmosphere of that, I was kind of like, okay, like, it's real, man. Like, this is going to be a great chapter. Then we get to the gimmick of this chapter. We get time travel. And you see that doll that looks a lot like Alone if you played, like, as the regular costumes. I bet you can see where this is going. So, that'll show you the past, the TV. They haven't been taken over by, I don't even remember what they call this thing. But as you can see, past with a light, because without it too, like all this area is like all damaged and stuff, so you wouldn't be able to get through with it. So that's like the gimmick of this chapter to help you get through and solve like all the puzzles and stuff. So we get a trophy for getting that. Also, we get another trophy. Actually, we get 2 trophies for the collectibles in this one, which are also is the ghost collectibles that I'll show you the ghost when we see it. I think there's only, God, how many is there? Like 8, I think. I don't know. Then the dolls that we collect, and this time for collecting all the dolls in this level, we actually gain a trophy for collecting all the dolls in this level, and then all the dolls throughout the game. And this was like a little, I didn't understand why I couldn't grab that. It was actually pretty frustrating, because I'm like, I can clearly like jump and reach it. And I was like, okay, I guess the game doesn't want me to do it this way. So you have to jump on the cupboard then to get onto that. And I was like, that just seems like an extra step. And I just couldn't believe that's how they designed this. I don't know. It's just kind of seems flawed to me. This chapter also has like a no death section. So every time that you do encounter I think he's the doctor. I don't know. You have to like listen to a podcast so you know who this main villain is. But you have like 3 encounters that he can murder you. This is one of them. So you need to get through each encounter without dying to earn the trophy for like the no deaths in this one. It's not too hard. They're pretty lenient, I feel like, on it, because I feel like he got me at one point, but they didn't count it. So this trophy wasn't too bad. But this next part, when you go through it, for whatever reason, I didn't have any problems when it was just me doing it by myself. However, when I went with my co-op partner in this part, I don't know if this part was bugged. We even joked about it, being like, dude, what the hell's going on? Because as soon as we went through the door, he didn't go through like the animation of going all the way to the one side. He would just immediately grab us. So you can see here, we're running. He punches the wall, stuns him a little bit, and then he's like, all right, I gotta go get this guy. Or my hand, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna grab you. Oh, I'm so scary. But let me go to the part with my co-op partner. So this is gonna be hilarious. So we get to the same part, right? You saw what happened, and this is us. Maybe I had like a little delay there when I left, but boom, instantly crushed. All right, let's go round 2. Surely it won't happen again. Of course, there's a little connectivity issue. Boom, he gets destroyed. All right, 3rd time's the charm for sure, right? It couldn't possibly happen again. Okay, let's go. Boom, just reaches out. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? He's not going to punch the wall. He's immediately just going for us. Like, what are we doing wrong? Like, it's crazy. Even this at this point, bro, he's out for blood. I never had to go that far before. And he's like, yeah, this is so bugged. I blocked his name because I don't want people like, I don't want to, in case video goes off, I don't want people just messaging him or saying stuff. He didn't agree to be part of the video, so I don't want to, you know, I just want to show the interaction that we had, that we're both like, dude, what the hell's going on? And you can see this, dude, this happens so freaking much. Finally, by the grace of God, he was looking down on me and he's like, this dude has suffered enough. He finally does the animation where he punches the wall instead of just reaching for us. Dude, and it was so frustrating. And it's stuff like this where if there was like a permadeath trophy or something like that and like this bug happened to you, it's just kind of like, dude, just like with the freaking lady in chapter 2 with the, you know, the steam. If she doesn't pull and the steam doesn't come out, well, there goes your run. You know what I mean? Like, granted, in the first game, there was a lot of jank that could ruin your deathless run, but it was so much shorter. It was like, you could beat it in under an hour. This game, no, man. It's like an 8-hour, 4-hour. I mean, honestly, if you know where you're going and stuff, you could probably get out of it in, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Because if you know where you're going, you're pretty much just going right the whole game, and you're entering one hallway into another hallway, into a vent, into a hallway, avoid the guy. There's not really like much to it, which is kind of sad to say. But anyway, let's get back into it. Now, I know I've been kind of speedrunning the end chapter because the video's getting a little bit long, but let's knock out another trophy. So you see like the little ghost right there? Kind of hard to see, but now you can see it. It disintegrates. Yeah, you need to collect all those in this chapter to earn another trophy. And it wouldn't be fair to show like not cool parts in this chapter too. But you see that with it, that, and that's what I was talking about earlier with like the plant taking out the person. I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of see what they were trying to do with this. I think they were trying to like resemble the part in the second game where you have like the mannequins and they're like all around, and if you make like a certain wrong movement, they'll murder you, but you have like the flashlight to stop them. This, I see what they're doing, but it just doesn't hit the same. And then we'll enter this final chase scene, and I guess really, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is going to be like the final segment of this, and then I'm going to end the video. So this guy apparently was like a therapist for Lowe, but you really only know that. Also, this freaking bugged out for me. It wouldn't let my bow shoot, which is super irritating. But after the chase scene, we try to get to the mirror, and for whatever reason, well, you'll find out after, but Alone doesn't want to go in the mirror, and that kind of just messes up the whole thing. Then you have the boss fight with the guy. Anyway, back to what I was saying, is apparently there's like a podcast about this guy, and if you don't know about the podcast and you really don't know about the villain, which is kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense in my like opinion. Like, why wouldn't you try to make it more known to like who the villain is for a game, when half the, even in like the subreddit where I was, like, people are like, what is this? Who is this guy? And like, oh, you need to watch this really obscure podcast that they had back in the day about it. Okay, but why? Like, if anything, like have like a character from this and then like make it a podcast about like that to explain it, because like I didn't even know they had a podcast. How was I supposed to? Like, I like Little Nightmares, but I'm not like I wouldn't call myself a super mega fan by any means. I like the games, and I watch like theory videos about them, or, you know, ranking like the enemies or like the big bosses of the area, but nothing like, I don't know, that's about as far as I go in my, I guess, Little Nightmares fandom. And I like the first two games. I wish I didn't have to play this game as much as I did. And the only trophies that we need now are just the endings, because you have to beat the game, like I said, in the fourth chapter. That's the only one they have to do in co-op, is the fourth chapter with a friend. And then you have to beat the game, well, beat all the chapters in the game with each said character, which let me just pop the platinum now. There we go. And it's kind of like any other normal boss fight too. It's kind of like oh, you got to do the 3 hits. You got to do the hand, and then the eye. It's just kind of like, I don't know, man. I felt like the boss fight with 6 was crazy. I felt like the boss fight with the lady at the end of the one was more to it. I don't know. It just felt like there was more on the line. This one just didn't hit the same. And maybe it's just because I didn't know that person. And then, like, the whole game with 6, you know, you're, like, traveling together. Then all of a sudden she gets, like, under the influence of the man in the hat. And then she turns, like, into, like, this grotesque monster. And you have to, you know, you have to hit the music box to, like, get her to go, like, away. Well, you hit the music box to hurt her. But you have to, like, call her name out and then go through a portal and do all this. And I don't know. It's just kind of wild. And then at the end of the game, you realize that Alone is actually just a figment of Lo's imagination, and that's why she couldn't go in the final mirror, because that's how she's going to leave the, what do they call it in Little Nightmares? The Down Under? Or is that Stranger Things? The Lands Between? That's Elden Ring. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm not like a super mega fan, but I do like the games. And this wasn't like, I don't know, it didn't really hit me that much because it kind of just, the name kind of gave it away, Alone. And 2, it's just like, once you saw the doll in the beginning of the chapter 4 that was just like Alone, you're kind of like, okay. And then whenever you went through the mirror, it just, she was always delayed. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. But overall, would I say this is a must play? Not by any means. I would honestly say play the first 2 games and skip this one. It's not that great. I mean, if you and a buddy want to play it, there is no local co-op, by the way. You have to play it online, which kind of sucks. I hate when games do that, man. If you're going to have co-op, at least give you the option to have local co-op. Because I would have liked to play this with, like, my sister or my friends. You know, just sitting there. And I have a bunch of friends that like Little Nightmares. I mean, I don't know if they'll play this one because I've talked to a couple of my friends and I'm like, it's not that great. Like, I mean, it has like some high points and some low points. The bugs are inexcusable at this point. I do like that hand twitch though. Like I said, it's just on and off. I try to talk about the best of my knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed the video overall. I appreciate you if you did last this long. And then when you get there, you'll see that Alone stays back. And then in like the final sequence chapter, Lo's out in the real world again. And then there's some DLC that's supposed to come out. I don't know if I'll do a video on the DLC. Maybe I will, because I've been kind of doing that lately with, I did the Dredge DLC, and then I did the DLC for the Imposter, or Imposter, for Among Us. It's like the worst trophy in Among Us, but that's really all I have. I'd say Supermassive was kind of a letdown with this one. I am really excited for Reanimal, though. I bet that game's going to slap, and I haven't played the demo, but I watched a few people play the demo, and it looks Little Nightmare-esque, and it looks better, so I'm very excited for it. And I appreciate you guys if you made it this far. If not, it's all good. I love you, and we'll end on this very sad note, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.